And we are recording. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the future of the water and wastewater industry and the careers you didn't know about. I'm your host, Dave Kosminski, and we are live in the studio with an old friend of mine from the Metropolitan District, the Director of Engineering, Miss Susan Negrelli. Hi, Susan. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm well.
Well, thank you for making the trip down to the great state of Portland.
No problem. I live close to here, so it's convenient.
There you go. Fantastic. All right. Great job. All right. So, again, we had a very successful boot camp a little while ago, and we had some very engaged students, so I thought they did really well, and you did a great job talking to them.
Yes.
As far as that goes. So, tell me a little bit about the JETA. How did you get into the water industry?
Water industry. First, it's civil engineering, right?
Yep.
Then, I was one of those people that didn't want to be stuck behind a desk somewhere.
Okay.
So I think I leaned towards civil engineering. When I was a kid, I was outside playing in the dirt. I wasn't playing with Barbies in the house.
No, huh?
So I don't know. It just kind of gravitated to civil engineering. And then once you're in engineering, many years ago, obviously.
Yeah, just a couple, 2, 3.
Yeah. I had co-op at my college, Merrimack College.
Okay.
And so I tried one of my first sessions was with a transportation firm.
Okay.
So I was out all summer counting cars and doing geometry diagrams of the intersections for development and stuff like that. And it was great.
Yeah.
But it made me realize that this is not what I want to do.
Okay.
So it was a good experience because, taught me that. And then my next co-op, I went to an environmental firm, and I was doing solid waste, wastewater work, and I don't know, it just kind of stuck. And when I got out of school, I got a job with that firm that I co-opted with, and it just kind of grew. Nobody picks wastewater, right?
No.
Or solid waste.
Hey, we did have a couple of students in the boot camp that were interested in wastewater, which was nice. So
good.
Fantastic. When you got out of high school, did you have a pre-designed path that you were looking at, or?
Oh, well, I thought it would be architecture.
Okay.
But I went to Mercy, and I didn't have a lot of room for art.
Okay.
In the curriculum,
okay.
The college courses that they put you on. So I didn't have any kind of portfolio or really art for those years in high school. So that's when someone had said, well, why don't you look at engineering, civil engineering? And that's how I went there. And I did like math and science. Mm-hmm. Math, I did well in math and science, and I enjoyed it. And so it just kind of was a natural fit.
Now, what made you pick Merrimack? Isn't that in Methuen?
North Andover, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I got into UConn.
Okay.
Got into Merrimack, got into a couple other schools. And it came down to, UConn, big student, big school.
Yeah.
Being in a room with hundreds of students, or Merrimack having the more personalized experience, smaller classes for something that I thought was going to be difficult in engineering. And so I preferred that route. One of the other things was I played soccer, and at the time Merrimack was D2.
Okay.
And so I could play soccer.
Nice.
UConn was D1, so I wasn't playing soccer there.
Yeah.
So, it came down to a bunch of different factors. And I did want to get out of Connecticut.
Right. And now how was your path to the Metropolitan District? How did that evolve?
Yeah, after school, I graduated, worked for a couple consultants, worked my way back to Connecticut.
Okay.
With one of the consultants, and then, it was just, I was at one job and I wasn't crazy about it, and I saw an ad in the paper at the time for an engineer, and I applied, and I never, in my wildest dreams did I, 26 years later.
There you go.
Here I am still,
Well, I hear you. I know how that works. I'm here 50 years later, and I'm still, whatever.
Right.
Nice. And so, was your How have your duties changed? From Metropolitan District since you got there. Obviously, now you're director of engineering.
Right. I started off in the engineering department as a project engineer and doing water and sewer type projects. And someone someone had retired, and I took over his projects, and they were more in the drinking water supply area. And so I was managing those projects in construction. And when a position opened up out in the water treatment and supply department, I applied for that, and I went out there, and I spent 14 years out in that department. And I rose through the ranks there, principal engineer, and then assistant manager of water treatment, and then manager of water treatment. So I was actually doing that for a few years. And then when, the director of engineering opened up, it was, it was kind of like, why don't you try this? Look at this, and I'm like, oh, okay, and here I am back in Hartford. But, at the time it was very enticing because they were embarking on this, on the clean water project, which is to control the combined sewer overflows in Hartford. There's a bunch of consent order projects, and one of the projects was this, $600 million tunnel that they were building. And, and when I was coming in to become director, it was at the turning point of that project where they were going to be starting to build it. So it was like, well, that's going to be interesting.
Well, that kind of became your baby.
Great. Here it is 7 years later. They're still building it.
Well, you know the old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Oh, great.
So I know when you did your presentation for the boot camp students, I mean, they were mesmerized. And tell us a little bit, how you got started with that tunnel project. That was phenomenal.
I mean, it was totally designed before I even got up there. It was in the works. It was I became director in summer of 2014, and we put it out to bid in 2016. So, but 2015 we were pre-qualifying contractors and doing all that work leading up to the advertisement of the contract. But it just kind of, and everyone talks about the tunnel, and it is a huge project. The one contract to build the actual tunnel is a $279 million contract.
Wow.
At the time it was going on, at the time it was bid, it was probably the largest public works project in New England.
Wow.
And, but that's just one of our projects. We still do every year capital improvement projects totaling, just under $100 million.
Wow. And
then there are other clean water projects that have been going on in conjunction with the tunnel. We could spend another, 50 to, 1 year we spent 250 on the clean water project. So it's not just one project. It's not just one tunnel. It's, lots of projects.
Now, you're talking capital. You're talking both capital on water and wastewater, correct? Okay.
Yes.
So, tell us a little bit about the overview of the Metropolitan District and, what you guys do and what you guys serve.
Yeah, so we're the water and sewer, basically the water and sewer utility agency for the Metropolitan Hartford area.
Yep.
We serve a population of about 400,000 people. We sell water to Portland,
Absolutely,
coming down here, wholesale customer. So we have a large service area, and we have so with both drinking water and wastewater, there's a lot of infrastructure.
Yes.
Between dams and reservoirs, supply transmission pipelines, pump stations, treatment plants, distribution piping and that's just the water side. And then on the wastewater side, you got the collection system and more pump stations. I mean, in total, I think the district has 100 pump stations between water and wastewater. Wow. Storage tanks, the largest wastewater treatment plant in the state of Connecticut, four plants total, wastewater. So there's a lot going on.
Wow. Now, you have 8 member towns?
Yes.
Okay, so now do you take wastewater from all 8 member towns?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a huge endeavor right there. I know you gave us a tour of the Rocky Hill plant, which is significantly smaller than the main plant, but it's
that was a project we did. The engineering worked with the facilities departments, and we expanded that treatment plant about 5 years ago. That was like a $53 million job.
Wow. Well, like the thing, we have, another thing that drives us in the industry is obviously regulations, and they're always a changing. So tell us how that has affected you guys.
Yeah. Everything's becoming more stringent and regulated.
Yep.
On the drinking water side, the big buzzword these days is PFAS.
Yep.
I know you know all about it, and I think a lot of water companies here in Connecticut are going to be looking for alternate supplies or
Sure.
supplement supply because they may have PFAS issues.
Yeah.
But so far we're testing clean.
Oh, so
We have a very abundant supply of
Right.
surface water reservoirs, well protected, where we have 31,000 acres of land. So we're the second largest landowner in the state of Connecticut.
Uh-huh.
So our sources are well protected, and knock on wood.
Sure.
I think other people will be looking to us to help.
Yes.
Supply water.
Well, fortunately, we tested clean too in our well, so which is good. Knock on wood, as far as that goes. But you get to a point. The other buzzword is the lead service lines. I mean, obviously, you guys are, as every other water utility is mandated to do their lead copper service inventories and so forth. So
yeah, we're in the midst of that. Yeah.
So and then that's going to be huge. And
yeah,
then
I don't. Lead didn't seem to be a big, in what we've discovered and through our research of our system, we never allowed it.
Yep.
On the service lines, but that doesn't mean when we took over East Hartford system or Windsor system that
Right.
there could have been some in there. So we are in the midst of doing that inventory. Right now, we have a consultant helping us. So.
Yeah, I think, from our standpoint, I think the only thing that we have is we don't have any solid lead service. And we have, obviously, a fair amount of lead goosenecks, and so forth. But I guess those are considered lead service lines, whatever. So anyway, as you've gotten to, obviously, the Metropolitan District has a lot of resources and which is huge. I mean, not only from an engineering standpoint, but we've had a couple of your folks on. In fact, Jamie Harlow has been on as far as that from HR. So, how many employees does the MDC employ now?
I think we're at about 438 employees.
Oh, okay.
Right now. Yep.
Yeah, that's huge.
Do more with less.
Yeah, well, hey,
And that's where we're at.
we have two.
And when I took over engineering again 9 years ago, we were at about 87 people.
Yeah.
Between all of our, at that time I had GIS as well, but the engineers, the construction inspection people, the project managers, construction managers, 87 people. Now we're at 43.
Wow. Yeah, well, I first got, went to visit you guys. I think, who was that? She's long retired now. Put it the GS, Mary McDonald.
Barbara McFarland.
McFarland, there
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
Yeah. She was the head of the GIS department back then and so forth. And, wowed us. So I took students up there and, looking at in the magic room there where they're doing all the cartography and all stuff. Now, how many, do you guys do your own flyovers as far as that goes for GIS?
The last time, again, I don't run that department anymore, but I know that they did a flyover in 2015.
Okay.
So right when I took over the department, the data was very old and they wanted a flyover. And so we did one in 2015. I think that's the last one we've done. So we hire somebody.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, it's either Sewell or one of the other guys that come in. But, again, it's making sure that GIS data, that parcel data is up to date and so forth. But a lot of that. Now, when you go about in designing projects, do you have engineers that are more for wastewater versus water, or how does that?
Everyone's got their own niche. We've
Okay.
got people that are, really strong with the facility type projects.
Okay.
They're more maybe mechanical. And you've got the electrical component that they have to understand. So we use consultants to do a lot of the design work, but our project managers are managing all these projects.
Okay.
One project manager can manage many projects.
Yeah.
But one, they can't design it themselves any longer. So we are using consultants, but we're managing the project. So excuse me, you have people that are stronger in facility type projects. You have people that, tend to gravitate towards the water main work
Right.
or the sewer lining work is, that's a huge,
That's, you guys talked about that up
Yeah.
at the boot camp. Now, how does that work now?
it's, what we're aiming towards with our clean water project now is we really want to fix the existing infrastructure.
Right.
Before, yes, we do have this big tunnel we just built, and it's going to help the southern part of Hartford with sewer overflows. But before we build another big tunnel, let's fix the existing infrastructure in the
Right.
street. Because if the water can't get to the tunnel, what good is it?
Exactly.
So we're one of the methods we're using is it's cast in place pipe. Basically, it's putting a new pipe inside an old pipe.
Okay.
It's a liner, and it really is more efficient. It's cheaper than digging,
Sure.
excavating a street up and
Yeah.
putting a new pipe in.
Yeah.
We're basically building a new pipe inside the old pipe, and we don't have to dig up the street.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Have you done that on the water side at all?
No, we don't do that with water. We're replacing our water mains.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I know
Yeah.
Middletown across the river, they've gotten into relining their water pipe, and again, it's cost effective to a point you don't have to excavate the whole street. But you're putting a new water main up the street. Then you have to lay temporary water and all that kind of good stuff, and it gets to be very arduous and very complicated. So anyway. That's great. Okay, so you graduated from Mercy. So what do you like to do in your personal? What kind of hobbies do you have?
Oh, I don't know. I think I used to have hobbies. The kids are older now. Dog and cat, husband and home.
How old are your kids?
27.
Okay.
And my younger son will be 24 next
Okay.
month. So they're kind of grown and flown kind of thing. And
Okay.
then hobbies. You just like in the summer we have a pool at the house. We just like to
Chill.
hang by the pool and
There you
have
go.
friends over and stuff like that. And go walking with the dog.
Now, do you take part in the MDC recreation program up there by any chance? Walking
It's funny. I worked out there for 14 years.
Uh-huh.
And I did when I was out there.
Yeah.
I would go running after work, or I'd bring the bike and go biking.
Yeah.
Or at lunch. Not so much at lunchtime, but
Yeah.
yes, I did. Not now though.
No.
No.
Come home. I'm out of here.
Yes.
Go
Yeah.
from there. All right. Well, as you know, I'm into music. So, what was your favorite band in college?
In college.
Or now?
Yeah. No, I listened to everything.
Yeah.
I liked, back in college, I liked alternative, like The Cure and New Order.
Okay.
And I like country. I like Chris Stapleton. I like
Okay.
going to see Bruce Springsteen next month. I listen to everything.
Okay. If you got stuck on a desert island, what album would you bring?
Oh, geez. Probably one of either Sting,
Oh,
The Police.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably one of his solo
Yeah.
albums.
Nice. All right. So, the other question. Okay. Desert island food. What food could you eat every day? Or
I could eat chicken every day.
Chicken.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love chicken. Any way it's cooked, I'll eat chicken.
Well, that's that question gets pizza is very high on a lot of the our guests that come on.
Well, I like to cook too. So
Oh, okay.
when I make chicken, I bet
Okay, what's your
different
favorite
ways
dish
to
like to make?
I make chicken marsala.
Oh, okay.
I make a good chicken marsala.
Okay, and what do they have? Chicken and vodka? Is that chicken?
Penny a la vodka, with chicken.
Yeah,
You can throw
nice.
some chicken in there. Yeah, you can always add chicken to anything. Caesar salad, add chicken.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that too. Bacon goes with everything
Oh, yeah.
too. You got to have bacon. So anyway, all right, fantastic. All right, well, Susan, thank you so much for coming down and sharing your insight on the water industry. If you had, again, we try to focus this podcast geared to high school and college students. If you were to give some advice to potential high school senior college freshmen, what would you say about the water industry?
about the water industry, just, if you like math, science, engineering, or, if it doesn't even have to be an engineer, you can't, it's a very good, stable, career path.
Yep.
You think of with COVID, when COVID hit
yeah.
and people were losing jobs and, but everybody still needed drinking water.
Yep.
And everybody still needed to flush the toilet and have it go somewhere, right?
Yep.
So, it's a very, I would say it's a stable, career path.
Sure, occupation. It's not something you can outsource, that's for sure. But we were those employees that showed up every day all the way
Exactly.
through COVID. I mean, there was no working from home for us.
Right.
You had to show up and get it done. I mean, especially from a standpoint of your filtration plants, you had to pay people on staff. But also you got your construction crews that had to go out and fix a leak if it was out there.
Yeah. And really construction never stopped during COVID, and it kind of worked to our advantage because people weren't driving, they weren't commuting to work.
Yeah.
So the construction crews were able to get a lot done in the streets while there wasn't as much traffic as normal. So life went on for us, and we kept doing what we do, and we do it 24/7, and it's a good, secure career path.
Yes. Well, like I said, with all the students, check it out because it's an opportunity to get a stable career that's very well paid, and like I say, it's a secure. You don't get outsourced across the pond, all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, all right. Again, Susan, thank you so much. Again, in the house, Miss Susan Negrelli, who is the head of engineering for the Metropolitan District, and I am your host, Dave Kosminski, and this is the future of the water and wastewater industry and the careers you didn't know about. So if you're looking for a career, check out the water industry. So until next time, thank you so much, and be well, be safe, and Susan, drive safely. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.